It means, hello?
Kindly proceed, caller.
Yes, the founding fathers of this country believed in change and they made the ultimate sacrifices. The freedoms that we are enjoying right now were as a result of struggles, the ultimate sacrifices. The founders of Saba, the likes of Rubia, Matiba, sacrificed even their lives, their health, for the freedoms that we are enjoying today. What is left of us at the moment is to ensure that we have a new beginning for our country. It is time for another transition. Looking at the corruption, the way it is so entrenched in every institution of our country, be it recruitment, be it the county government, be it the national government, be it the judiciary, corruption is all over. Opulence, nepotism. These are the vices that we must stand up and fight against in this Sabasaba. Tomorrow, let turn out in large numbers to remember our fallen heroes and heroines as we strategize for the next move. Right now, it is so clear that we must have a new beginning for this country where we do a complete overhaul of all the structures that are there, the governance, and the leadership of this country. The time is now or never, because we've lost our country. Looking at all the sectors, it seems nothing is working. Thank you for that.
Aman Manyora is here, and people are requesting if he can pick a mic, if he can listen to us, and also, uh, Nani, the Manyora has been here for a while. People are requesting. I think Dr. Roslyn Kombepia is also with us. I see some people are requesting if they can join a mic. So, okay, guys, you can request a mic, or we'll send to you. Back to you, Madge.
Thank you. Dr. Please test the mic. We see if you're now on.
Testing. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you. Do you want to chime in or should we proceed?
Yeah. I would like to chime in.
Go on.
Thank you very much, and thanks all the contributors. I would like us to stay focused. It is not. This is not the time to lose focus. As we said last week, and as I continue to say, the Republic of Kenya, the citizens of Kenya have already stated that they have lost confidence in William Ruto and his regime. There is no reason why people say maybe we'll survive up to 2027, maybe he will get himself back in again. This maybe must come to an end. There is nothing else the Kenyans are waiting for except to have William Ruto resign. As I said before, this is something that has been done throughout history. And it is within the four corners of our constitutional architecture. The Constitution of Kenya 2010, Article 1, vests ultimate authority on the people of Kenya. We can recall William Ruto, and we should, by demonstrating to him in large numbers, peacefully, that we no longer want him as a head of state and head of government. People forget the British went to the polls just 2 days ago, the fourth election in 5 years. Every time the British express disaffection or lack of confidence in their government, they hold elections. And it doesn't matter whether the other government was just elected 1 year ago or 6 months ago, they will hold another election. And the prime minister resigned, and we have a new prime minister. You don't have to wait for 5 years to recall anyone. The Constitution of Kenya does not say that. It does not give anybody tenure for 5 years. You have a right to exercise your sovereignty under Article 1 by telling Ruto that you no longer have confidence in him, that you no longer trust him, that you no longer believe that anything he says or does is in your best interest, and you recall him. It's done all the time in South Africa. They recall their presidents within the party. And here we have it within the constitution to do so. Now, regarding the issue of conflict of interest, I believe the law is already there. The penal code has provisions regarding fraud, regarding theft, regarding misappropriation, regarding acts that are not legal, that are used by people in power or in positions of influence or in public office to acquire wealth that they otherwise are not entitled to have. The Constitution, chapter 6, the integrity provisions already provide for that. There is ethics and anti-corruption legislation that created the EACC that also provides for issues to do with conflict of interest. There are politicians who have already been charged with breaching conflict of interest laws. We don't need new laws. Kenya, we have more than enough laws. All we lack are men and women of integrity that will enforce those laws. That's all we lack. So let's not get confused about laws and whatnot. You saw that when the legislation was taken to the Senate, people like Olekina watered down a legislation that had been taken there, notwithstanding the fact that I'm saying we don't need that legislation. But even the one that they just drafted, they made it completely useless. In other words, don't trust these legislators, don't trust these people holding power, no matter which party they belong to. They are all hyenas that want to eat the sheep, who are the Kenyan citizens, through their taxes. They want to bankrupt the country so that a weakened citizenry, a pauperized citizenry, cannot have a say and cannot bring them to account. Now, regarding William Ruto,
please proceed. I've muted the person whose mic was on.
Right. There is someone who said that William Ruto has given the country the middle finger. Why don't we work within our budget? I think we've already been through that and established that this is not a person that can be brought, can bring himself within the requirements of the law. Is ungovernable. He does not respect the rule of law. He does not respect the Constitution. That's why he appointed people that did not meet Chapter 6 of the Constitution into public office, because he doesn't care. So, as I said, we have a recourse under Article 1 of the Constitution, and that is what we have to do. We have to do it publicly, we have to do it peacefully, we have to do it in large numbers, we have to continue to demand that. We should not be waiting for 2027. If we do, William Ruto is going to reconstitute an IBC that looks exactly like the fake task force that he did yesterday to serve his personal interest. And then the IBC that he has reconstituted will be a rubber stamp to coronate him in 2027. We cannot actually betray the people who have died and allow him to do that. Now, Tabitha said, spoke about employment abroad and whatnot, and stated something that I agree with. The role of a government is to create jobs and environment for creating more jobs and opportunities and investments and business within Kenya, so that all Kenyans can work in Kenya and develop Kenya in Kenya. So this nonsense about exporting workers to wherever is just that, nonsense. A country cannot spend millions of shillings educating each person, training them, only to take them out to go and work. So that's basically not just a brain drain. It's also a sabotage of your economy. Because how are you going to recoup the money that you have used to educate and train these people only to ship them outside to go earn menial jobs and develop other people's economies? Now, the issue of Kingsman said about the Auditor General's report, whether we can tell the IMF and the World Bank that the debt that is outstanding is odious debt and that we are not going to pay. Exactly. This is precisely what we should do. We should not pay debt that was illegally obtained, that did not come to help the people and the country, and that we are repaying so that these people can become billionaires. By the way, it's big business. Senior executives within the IMF and World Bank and managers are in bed with our thieves, and they are just stealing. Big business. Nobody should tell you that IMF executives are not conspiring and are not looting Kenya and other countries so that they can come to, quote unquote, our rescue when we are already bankrupt. Most of the debt, and I agree with Jimmy Wanjigi on this, most of the so-called debt were paid off many years ago. This so-called debt that we are paying now is not a debt. It's not a legitimate legal debt. These are illegal debts that we are encumbered with and that are used to basically bankrupt the country. These are mechanisms of theft, of looting, of plunder, of siphoning public resources outside Kenya. So yes, we should say that Kenyans are no longer going to pay the odious debt, which is illegal debt that is not legitimate, money that was not brought to Kenya for development, and money that should go towards development is being diverted to pay artificial, mythical things that we don't even know how to call. They should not even be called odious debt. They should be called fraudulent schemes, Ponzi schemes by the IMF, the World Bank, and our regime. Now, Felix made a comment about, I think that one I've already addressed, about Ruto staying up to 2027. I don't think we should allow him to. And I don't think anybody should imagine that that would happen. We should continue with the revolution the way it is. Then I believe, was it Wanjoroge or somebody, who said that we've already achieved what we fought for during the struggle for independence. Far from it. Wanjoroge, I would tell you that we did not get back our land. We did not get our independence. We had a flag and we have a national anthem, but beyond that, we don't have anything else. Our economy is still controlled largely by the Western interest, plus 1% of our oligarchs. But the citizens of Kenya do not have control over the economy. They don't have control over their politics. We do not have control over our culture anymore. We don't have 1% of our social affairs. We certainly don't have control over foreign affairs. We are dictated to by Washington and by London and Paris. So no, we don't have our country back. We never achieved any independence. So we should continue to struggle. Last thing I want to say, it is good that at least the leadership of the police have made announcements that they are not going to interfere with tomorrow's memorial concert, and that the gathering at Uhuru Park is not going to be interfered with. They are not going to load tear gas, and they are not going to shoot anyone. Well, we hope that they are not going to hire criminals to interfere with the citizens. Because when the citizens gather in large numbers there, I think the citizens should put it as a duty that if any of the thugs are unleashed on them, they should punish those thugs. They should not run away, because these thugs are not going to be more than 100, and they should be punished, and we can actually try them and punish them ourselves. I don't believe that people like Sakaja should be allowed to attend and address this rally. He was responsible for hiring thugs that injured a lot of people last week. And he's been one of the people that have stolen and looted public resources without accountability. He's responsible for the mess that we are in. Should be a peaceful, safe space for the movement, for citizens struggling against impunity. And we cannot allow perpetrators of impunity to invade this space and try to turn it into a platform for perpetuating impunity. Finally, I think there is a propaganda, probably brought in by the NIS, that is trying to create a sophisticated division. Our focus should be on the national government for now and the members of parliament that passed the punitive Finance Bill 2024. That way, we are not going to be diverted to the county governments. So let's forget about the Auditor General's report on the county governments for now, strategically. Let's focus our attention on Ruto and his regime and the members of parliament that passed this odious punitive Finance Bill 2024. Once we are over with them, then we can deal with the county governments and the others. Because if we don't do that, we would be scattered and we would be spread too thin, and we would turn even those governments that have been supporting us and giving us protection in the counties as our enemies. That's what they want. Focus on the national government, the Kenya Kwanza government. Let's bring it to its knees. Let's dissolve it, and then we can deal with other things later. That's my submission. I drop the mic.
Thank you so much, Daktari, for the submission. I would like to really request, we've hosted have spoken before. Kindly give the chance to other speakers who have not spoken so that we can add them, because really they've been trying and they also want to put their points across. Now we head to Cliff, Giorgio, Dean, and Kitoni.
Yeah,
Yes, please.
Maji, can I just say
Yes,
something?
please.
I think those speakers that have been wanting to speak, why don't they raise their hands and then you can put them on the queue and they can
The
speak?
problem is they can only raise their hands when they're on the speaker panel. Yeah.
Oh.
So when they're still on the listeners and requesting, yes.
March,
They can wave.
they can
Okay,
wave.
okay.
We can
Let's
just
do that.
they can wave.
Okay.
Yes.
Thanks for the tip. Okay, guys, you hear that? Kindly keep waving and then we add you. Meanwhile, let's go. Cliff, Giorgio, Dean, and Francis, as I look for those other ones, and then we go. Yeah. 2 minutes each.
Yeah. Thank you very much, Maj. On this one, I'm sure on this aspect by for me, I believe how Ruto put together this government. Somehow he was creating a room and space for embezzlement. Actually, looking through all these financial bills all through since last year, this year, those myriad of taxation from the housing levy to the even the affordable was fertilizer, the VAT taxes all over the place. I believe somehow even having those so incompetent CSS or PSS or all those kind of officials, the SS official, was somehow there intentionally. However, for me, looking at the grand scheme of things, I believe at some point the president had maybe a scheme whereby towards the end of his term, he could actually throw all these CSS or a bunch of them under the bus and try to sanitize himself regarding what has happened in government and trying to look maybe kind of clean to the people and trying to maybe cleanse himself from the wrongdoings he has done or that have happened in his government. Although he's the chief leader of this government, he's the chief person who should be in charge. I believe that I think the chair said that one quite clearly. We should put Ruto on task. He's the one of the spotlight. He should not try to divert the attention of the mismanagement of the country to the people who him as a person, him in his own very person, he appointed. I was very disappointed. I think I saw a video today or yesterday whereby when I was appointing, I think the IG, Mr. Kome, he didn't even know who that was. Then you're wondering, like, how could we appoint a person who don't even understand, who he is, the second name, what they do, and all of that. So I think we should remain still focused on the point that, regardless also as much as we are calling, the overhaul of the cabinet, still, of course, now the focus majorly lies on the president for any mismanagement, for the appointments, for any appointment of the state officials, and also still the buck stops with the president in terms of any management or mismanagement of this country. I hand over the mic. Thank you.
Thanks for being brief. Kingsman, help me identify them. I saw a lot of waves. Let me drop Cliff. Giorgio, Dean, Mzalenda already added you. 2 minutes each.
I think also those people who have spoken, Georgia Kiasi, those who have spoken can come up automatically, and then now we can be able to add others. I'll also be checking as you're doing so.
Yeah, thank you for this opportunity. For those who don't know me, I'm a comedian in the United States, been, struggling for a very long time trying to understand this capitalist system. I went to Nation TV to talk about capitalism. It's been a pain. I'm from Githurai. This is where the massacre was committed. Just because the highway is so flat, it's a killing field. So there is no negotiations. Thank you, Miguna. There is no negotiations with someone who has blood on your hands. When you have blood on your hands, you don't go to the public. We are not going to let this go. Here, we have a chance to change the entire world. And one of the things that is affecting us here is globalization. Kenya, there's nothing that can happen in Kenya by itself. It's a global village. We was trying to create a small global village. Now look at Ghana. They're trying to do exactly what we did. Look at Nigeria, Uganda. All of them are following suit. Are we going to be stopped down by these traitors? These traitors will come to regret. Why? Because we are creating a leaderless government. It is possible. Yesterday, I laid out the points of creating a leaderless government. I even brought examples of the softwares that we can use, starting with Monday. Now, William Ruto and your cronies, you keep messing with us just because you got guns. Guess what we got? We got nuclear weapons. We got bazooka.
Okay.
We're going to come from each and every corner of the world.
If you could,
yes.
You weren't 1 minute past. If you could just land, please.
Okay. Yeah. Let me summarize this. For each and every one of you in this movement, you need to feel very strong about yourself and know that an elephant is always dropped by a mace cop. United States, with all the power they have, 9/11, 2001, these boys, Osama bin Laden came with cutters and wires and fuck them up. William Ruto and your cronies, we're going to fuck you up, and we ain't stopping. Love you, my people. We are not scared of death because, when a man puts their life on the table, anything can happen. Love you all. Let's keep going.
Thank you so much, Giorgio. Dean and Mzalendo, in that order.
From Trans Nzoia County. I want to appreciate Dr. Miguna for what he said, and I agree with him in everything that he has said. Kenya, as a country, we have a very illegitimate president. Look at what is happening in his cabinet. All his CSs are very incompetent, and they have mastered his art of lies. And if we want to succeed in this, listening to William Ruto is a very big waste of time because he's a big liar and he has mastered the art of convincing people. The moment you listen to him, at some point you will start believing in him. So we don't have to listen to him whatsoever. His CSs are all incompetent. We have the CS for health who comes from Transoya. She's a drunkard who is ever drunk here in Transoya. Uh, when they say that charity begins at home, we even thought that because she comes from home, she is going to partner and help the governor to even improve the health sector in Transoya. But it is pathetic. She is in turn, she has now joined Wetangula in even fighting the governor. So we need people who are going to stand up and make sure that we take the government, we take Kenya to the next level. The fact that we are being told day and night, I don't think that just the way Dr. Miguna said, we don't have any debts. So
Yeah.
I support what the GNCs are doing.
Please land.
Sawa Dean, you've
Yeah.
had because of time.
It's okay.
Thank you. Tulikuwa tunajua ni mlevi, umeconfirm, tunaharibia
Wachaneni
walevi jina
nyinyi,
kabisa.
mtakuja hapa
She's a
na
very bad
evidence ya
man.
chupa. Walevi mwachane, mtuletee kwanza chupa hapa tuone. Let's not go to personal attacks. That is going to water down. Hey.
Maj, I think Lexia has been
Yes.
shouting so much in the spaces.
Let's give her.
Lexia,
But
can
please,
you go, please?
let's not go into personal attacks here. That waters down the discussion. Yes, Lexia, go.
Okay, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yeah, we
Lexia,
can
we
hear
can
you,
hear you
buddy.
loud and
Go
clear.
ahead.
All right, thank you. What I want to talk, about is, the topic of today, which is what next. And I've really been looking for this mic. And what I believe that we need to do is that, the people are saying that we, retreat. We should not do that. The idea I have is that we, the likes of Bonfast, the likes of Shadi, who started with those flyers, is that, we print those flyers with occupy embassies. The reason why I'm saying we occupy embassies is because this is the first thing that we should have done from the word go. If we had done this from the word go, and I'm sure Dr. Miguna is going to comment on this, we by now, the tyrant should be home. I'm giving an example of, the UN Avenue, which hosts the US Embassy, which hosts, UNEP. If we occupy, the both ends, which is, Limuru Road, and also on the other side, the Northern Pipers, then definitely everything will come to a standstill. Nothing will take place at the US Embassy. Nothing will take place at UNEP. And this will call, the reason why I'm saying the US Embassy is because these are, the tyrant is the puppet. And you see, our policemen are now guarding, the embassy of, US in Haiti, which is really a sad situation. But if we occupy, the entrance of UN Avenue, the junction between the Rimuru Road and UN Avenue, it means that nothing is going to take place at the Australian embassy, which is there, at the Canada embassy, which is there,
Kindly land.
the US embassy, the UNEP, the Israel embassy.
2 minutes each. Kindly land.
Yeah,
please. Yeah. Back to you.
So if we do this, then the most important thing, which is, IBC, then we are going to force the tyrant to make sure that he's signed the bill by Tuesday, as he said, but not just appointing anybody, but anybody that we are going to allow to be in that, seat as the IBC chair, probably, William Tunga. So I believe if we change those, and anybody who can reach to, Boniface, anybody who can reach to, Shadi.
I think we lost.
Next speaker, please. Alexia, I think we lost you.
Zalendo, and then Dr. If you want to chime, then you can go after Zalendo. Zalendo, 2 minutes. Okay, Mzalendo is not speaking.
Mzalendo.
Yeah.
Yeah, we can't hear him. So, I think Alberta.
Hi everyone.
Hi, how are you doing?
Fine, thank you. Now, I just want to be very brief because I noticed that as Kenyans, we have a psychological problem. I think that we should all be in the consensus that this government, our employees, and we are not subordinates to them. We did not swear any oath of personhood to Mr. Ruto. We didn't swear anything to him. He is the one who swore an oath to the Kenyan people to do what is mandated in our constitution. And from what we've witnessed from his regime, it's obvious that his entire government is absolutely incompetent. I want to just provide encouragement to the compatriots, including the longtime veterans from Saba, to let them know that we understand now more than ever what you've been trying to tell us for years, that we do not owe public officials loyalty, obedience. We are not their spouses. They are not our children. We are not their subordinates. We are nothing to them. They should do their work and they should not expect any thanks from us. Thank you.
Oh, great, Alberta. That was very nice staying within the time. Guys, next speakers, just do that. And Daktari, do let us know how many minutes you have left so that we can plan around that. But meanwhile, yes.
Maj, actually, I wanted to say that I would like to go. I think we've had a good discussion. I agree 100% with Alberto, or is it Alberta? But if somebody has something that they want to ask, I would answer it before I go. But I thank everybody. Unfortunately, I wouldn't be able to stay up to the end.
Okay.
No problem, Dr. I think you can pick a few. Maybe you pick 4 or 5, and then you respond to that, and then we can let you go.
All right, I'll listen.
Architect. Who else? I think we can add a few.
I think only a person who has a question, because he's leaving actually now. He's just waiting for a question that he can answer before he leaves. Is there anyone in the panel who has a question for Dr. Miguna? Okay, architect, shoot the question and then he can wind up. Yes.
Hi, thank you guys for giving me an opportunity to speak. I'm from the Caribbean, very close to Haiti and what's happening in Haiti and so on. We know the whole history about Haiti. And when I saw Kenyan troops guarding the U.S. Embassy in Haiti, I thought to myself, wow, that's interesting. But I have a question for the doctor. I know that you have more experience than me. I know that in revolutions, they have points of escalation. And I really think that Ruto should really go, because if he already done what he's done in a year and a half, can you imagine waiting for him in 2027 to leave? We can't allow that. So I wanted to ask the doctor, what kind of what else can we do, even those outside of Kenya, to escalate more and more legally? What can we do?
Thank you so much for that question. Dr. Please close with that.
Oh, thank you very much, Maj. What can we do to escalate legally? I think I am more convinced than any other time that the only thing that we can and must continue to do is to protest. The frequency of the protest will be decided and determined by protesters who are on the streets and villages and towns and cities in Kenya. If it was left to me, I would protest every day until Ruto goes. But I would wait to hear what other people will say today and hopefully tomorrow during the Sabasaba. I call upon all Kenyans who believe that they have power and they have rights to change the system, which is their system, and to take Ruto home to show up in large numbers tomorrow during the Saba with one anthem, Ruto must go, which would symbolize the dissolution of his entire administration so that we can transform Kenya. I thank everybody. Viva.
Thank you so much, Daktari, for having time to come and at least address us and also speak to us. And also, we are here to champion the way forward for the Saba, and Saba has a history. So those people doesn't know the history, read the history and know why it was started. Thank you so much, always, Daktari. Maj, how many minutes can we give? Then we
Okay, let's wind up at the top of the hour.
Okay.
I would like to say also, as we converse, let's keep Kingsman kindly mute. Yeah, let's keep within the confines of the law, because as we began this discussion and until now, the conversation of Dr. Miguna pegs onto Article 1 of the Constitution, meaning still within the legal grounds. So there was a speaker here, and I did not want to interrupt or act like I'm reacting. Was talking about bazooka and nuclear weapons. No, we're not going to any war anywhere. I mean, it is good to talk about such things when, you know, it's easier to talk about them when you're coming to a space. But let's understand that we have a legal responsibility also for the space. So we want to distance ourselves from such statements. We want to distance ourselves from, you know, unfounded statements that one cannot back up with evidence. And we do not want to glorify violence or threaten and say you're coming with nuclear weapons. We are very aware which countries have those nuclear weapons, and also aware of when they can be used. So please, let's not come with such claims. They're not helping here. They're just watering down the conversation. So as we continue, we're ending at the top of the hour, but remember that Daktari will listen to the end and pick your questions for the next session, or even just he can even answer via tweet. Be real or Kingsman, and then we cue these the rest of the speakers as we finish at the top of the hour.
Yeah, I think mine is to echo what you said, Marge, that this movement is not about use of violence. It's about using all means that are available legally, and it's a civil discourse. It's a conversation that we are having. Whatever we are doing is within the Constitution of Kenya, and our guidance as of now is Article 1 of our Constitution, which says that people can exercise power either through the elected leaders or they can exercise power directly. So what we are doing currently is having a discourse between how do you want our nation to move, which way is appropriate for us. Are the leaders that are here currently serving purpose? Are they doing whatever they were elected to do? So now that we felt like the leadership at the moment is not doing that, it's why we are taking the discourse to the streets, marching peacefully, no violence whatsoever in our cause, and we've kept on insisting that our only weapon is a bottle of water and a phone, and maybe an instrument. And we've said we're marching in black, green, and black, green, and white t-shirts or colors. So whoever was that speaker, please, this is not a violent movement. We are not planning whatsoever way to overthrow the government or take power forcefully or through use of violence. This is a peaceful demonstration as prescribed in our first article of the Constitution, whereby people can either exercise power indirectly or directly.
Yep.
So over to you, Billy.
Okay, Billy, as you come in, we want to remind our speakers, Maj, that again, 2 minutes.